Welcome to week 7. I'm going to try something different this week and do my intro video on just the overview of the class. So let's walk through the week 7 overview. And this week we're going to be going into a unit on ecology and coevolution. So this is the introductory week. So I want you to be able to define coevolution and describe influences of the environment, including other organisms, on evolutionary histories of organisms, and how populations change over time. So let's walk through some of the things I've got you doing this week. You've got video resources, reading assignment, a Semiotext lab, which is one of the tutorial labs this time, to go over population growth models. And we have some readings in the textbook on chapter 12. And let's pop over to the overview, or to week 7 to see what's here. So here's my overview video. You can look at this here. You probably already got there. The survey this week, I want to get some feedback from you all about how different parts of the class are helping you learn. So I have a survey up here that has a 1 through 4 scale for different parts of the class and a place for you to comment. So there's textbook readings, video questions, videos and questions, the Read and React forums, the online labs, and you notice I listed both the Semiotext tutorials and the labs, and the Biology Workbench lab. Then I ask you about some possible at-home labs that I didn't try with you all this year, but I wanted to know your feedback about them. And the summary assignments that we do every 2 weeks, they're the things I've been asking you to do, like write a letter to a relative. These things, pulling your understanding together for the unit. And then finally, the issues project work. So where we're at right now this week is you're going to be writing an outline, but we've done several things to build on what is an issue, how did we find resources, doing claims evaluations. So please fill out the survey. It's anonymous. I can't connect names to any of the responses, but I do want to know how different parts of the class are working for you. So this week we got a video on shorebirds in Louisiana with some video questions for you to answer on the barrier islands off the Louisiana coastline. The Read and React forum is about a warbler that has changed where it nests and this idea of plasticity. So due by midnight, find a definition of plasticity and argue for or against the possibility that behaviors like nesting habitat preferences could be genetically based. So we're thinking about behaviors being genetically based and thus evolving. The lab this week is on population growth models. So we've got some math and some graphing here. Walk through that, and it's got some nice sliders for you to think mathematically about what changes when you change exponents and things like that. And then the big thing this week is the issues project outline. So there's instructions for this outline and a grading rubric for this outline. This is an assignment that you're going to submit, an assignment that you're going to submit online. So the instructions here tell you about should not exceed 2 pages double spaced. You want to pose the problem, propose the 2 sides that are solving the problem, and then you're going to pick one side of that to have 5 major points of argument for. So your group should be dividing your issue into the 2 sides, or if you have more than 2 sides, divide it up that way. And each of you should pick one side that you're going to defend. Now, eventually we're going to get all this stuff together and have a presentation to other groups. So you're going to want to cover both sides of your issue at this point. So split it up between the people so that you get good arguments for each side of your debate this week. 5 major points with references for each. You need to use a minimum of 3 different references so that you spread out your sources where you're getting things. I put an example on here, and if you put these bold words in here, this will actually really help me grade. So go ahead and just use something very, very much like this to do your 5 major points of argument. And make sure you have a reference for each one listed after it. You notice here that I said, like a good debate, you should be including references or major points that support your side, but you can also put in weaknesses for the other side's argument. So let's go back and take a look at the grading rubric, and you're going to be earning 25 points maximum on this, 5 points for identifying the issue clearly at the very beginning, 5 more points for identifying the people who are arguing in that. The bulk of this, 10 points, comes from your 5 major points of support. Do you have 5? Are there at least 3 different sources for that? Are they clear? And do they support one side of the argument all the way through? If you support more than one side of the argument, you're going to lose some points on this. And then finally, 5 points for the spelling and grammar piece of it. So that's the issues outline. That's due on Sunday. You've got the read and react form that you've done before, the Simutex lab. This again is a tutorial, so this will walk you through and give you feedback during the lab along with some graded questions at the end. So this week is all about, like I said before, all about coevolution and how organisms evolve with each other. So come back, remember the purpose of this week. And I'm going to be on the road traveling. I'm going to be at a conference in the on the East Coast in Cleveland, and I will be checking as much as I can, probably once early in the morning, about your time, probably about 3 in the morning, because it'll be about 6 o'clock my time in the East Coast. And then once again in the evening when I get back to my hotel room. So I will have a little bit more limited contact with you, but again, I'm going to try to check in every day, every couple of times a day. So send me questions. I'll get back to you. I'm still trying to hold to that 24-hour response rate to you. Thanks.